Have you thought about elevating your design skills by using Photoshop? Well, you are at the right place because today we are going to go through the first step in achieving that thought. I'm really excited to start this new series because Photoshop is something I am really passionate about. I am Shelma and I am more excited to go on this journey with you. I don't want you to think Photoshop is too complex or too hard for you. Think about it as Photoshop is the tool you need in achieving a good design. For me, Photoshop is the industry standard in graphic design. Now, let's get to it. First, you will need to get a copy of Photoshop. I already have mine. If you don't, there is a link in the description of where you can download yours. Whatever version of Photoshop you have or whatever version of Photoshop your PC can carry, everything we're going to go through today can be done with all and any version of Photoshop. First, you're going to open your Photoshop. When you open your Photoshop newly, you're going to get an interface just like mine. New file, open, welcome to Photoshop, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to create a new file so that we can create our canvas for our design. We're going to go ahead and name this Photoshop for beginners. Now this is for your width, your height, your resolution, etc. We are going to go with pixels. If you want to be able to ascertain the correct size of whatever you are designing, first of all, what are you designing? If you're designing a YouTube thumbnail, just go ahead and go onto ChatGPT and ask, what is the perfect size for a YouTube thumbnail? If you're designing a Facebook poster, Instagram poster, go ahead, ask ChatGPT, what is the correct canvas size for a Facebook poster or an Instagram poster? And then you want to go ahead and ask ChatGPT how you would want it. You want it in pixels, you want it in inches, centimeters. You have to go ahead and tell ChatGPT that. Today we are going to be designing an Instagram poster, portraits, an Instagram poster which is 1080 by 1350. When you are printing, your resolution should be at 300, but when you are just going to post it, your resolution can come down to 800. But for this design, we are going to stick with 300, and then every other thing should be as it is here. Now we're going to go ahead and create our canvas. The Photoshop is going to be looking like this. Now let's go ahead and introduce you to everything you see here. If you're a beginner, everything you see here might be looking very awkward for you, but hold on, we're going to get familiar with all these tools you are seeing here. Now this is your swatches, gradients, patterns. This is your property layer, your adjustments layer. This is your library. Now this is your layer, this is your design layer. This is your design layer. Now you will want to go ahead and rearrange Photoshop however you want it. You want to go ahead and rearrange it how you'll be able to access all these layers easily, how you want it to be visible for you, because you see once I tap properties, the layer bar tends to hide, so you'd want to rearrange it how you'd want it to be. Now place just place your arrow here, left click and drag. You see it gives you more visibility on your property layer, and then you're going to go ahead and pick up your layer 2 down here, and I prefer mine over here so I can see it, and then I want to go ahead and then open it up more. Now over here to our toolbar, you want to go ahead and click on here so as to have all the tools more visible to you. All the tools more visible. You can see the difference when I do this, it tends to hide. But then just go ahead and click this arrow right here, and then you would have them arranged properly how you can see them. Now quickly, there's something we call rulers in Photoshop. It helps you get a perfect alignment of your design. You're going to understand this better as we proceed. Now, how do you get your rulers? How do you get your ruler on your workspace? Just go ahead and click Ctrl R, and then here you go. Here are your rulers. It helps you keep your design on a straight line. It helps you keep your designs on a straight line. These are your rulers. Now when you are done, whenever you want to clear up all these rulers, you just go on to view, you go to guides, and then you clear guides. Now let's get straight into today's lesson. Now we want to bring in our background. First of all, let me introduce these two bars to you. This is your move tool. We are going to be using this tool a lot. You are going to be using this tool a lot in Photoshop. Every time, every second, you are going to be using this tool. And then as you proceed, this is your lasso tool, this is your crop tool, this is your eyedropper tool, brush tool. This is another type of brush tool, but this is called history brush tool. Gradients, to use this to create gradients. Dodge tool, this is your text tool. This is another tool in Photoshop that you are going to be using very often. You're going to be using it very often. And then this is your rectangle tool. This is your shape tool per se. Now when you right click, you're going to get multiple tools. This is your rectangle, ellipse tool. This is what you use to create a circle. Triangle tool, polygon tool, line tool, custom shape tool. As we proceed, you will see how you can use all these shapes in your designs. Now this is your object selection tool. This is your frame tool. This is your spot healing brush tool, clone tab tool, eraser tool, blur tool, pen tool. You can also use pen tool to create shapes. This is your path selection tool. This is your hand tool. Use it to move around. Now, when you want to know what the use of a particular tool is, when you just keep your cursor on it, you are going to see a short video of what it does. Now, my cursor is on the move tool. You can clearly see the short video of a turtle moving. Now when I click on my lasso tool, you can clearly see the work of a lasso tool on this short video. When I click on my brush tool, you can clearly see the use of a brush tool on this video. My rectangle tool, you can see the use of my rectangle tool on this video, and so on and so forth. My eraser tool, you can see the use of that, and so on and so forth. Now first things first, we are going to bring in our background. Now we want to go ahead and resize this to fit in the canvas, because when we don't do that, you can see that it looks not okay. So we would want to reshape this to fit in our canvas. I want to go ahead and click Ctrl T. Ctrl T helps you to resize. Ctrl T is control transform. It will help you transform the size of any image, background, text, shape, anything you bring into Photoshop. Now we're going to go on and click on Control Transform, and then we're going to resize this real quick. Resize this real quick. Now, one thing you should know is all this extra space right here, all this extra space right here. If you don't want it to be like that, we're going to go ahead and click Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z. If you don't want it to have extra space up and down, you want the background or image to fit exactly on your canvas without any extra space leaving out, you want to go ahead and hold on Shift, hold on your left key, and then you drag. Come back here, hold on Shift, hold on your left key, and then you drag. Go ahead and click OK. So we want to reduce the opacity of this because of the design we're working on. A little tip: before you design, you would want to have an idea of what you want to achieve. Now you can go on, there are a lot of sites you can go on and explore. There is Pinterest. I use Pinterest most of the time. There's Pinterest, there's Behance, there are a lot of platforms you can go to check on inspirations on what you want to design or how someone else has done that kind of design before, so you can have an idea of what you want. Now, the design we're working on, we do not want the background to be so elaborate, so we're going to go ahead and reduce the opacity here. Now, when you select each layer, your layer is like a deck of cards. Your layer is like a deck of cards, one on top, and then the rest just flows down. The one you want to be on top is the one that will cover the rest. The rest will be hidden. So we don't want our background to be really whitish. We want it to have a little bit of color. We want to add a little bit of color to it. So we're going to go on to so we want that color to be under this background. So we're not going to keep our selection on the background. We're going to bring it down. I'm going to bring it down here, and then click on here, and then it will give you a lot of presets that you can choose from. A lot of presets. Like I said, Photoshop is the industry standard. Photoshop is the tool you need for a good design. It has a lot of properties. So right here, we're going to go ahead and we'll click solid color because we want to have a color beneath our background. Now, the reason why the color is already visible on this background is because we reduce the opacity of the background itself. Now I want to go ahead and choose a color. We're still working with white, just no white per se. We want it to be a little bit of white. Go ahead and click OK. You can see that when I increase the opacity, the background becomes more visible, and then you cannot see what is underneath it. That is why I said layers are like deck of cards. When one is on top, you can't see what is under. So we want this color fill to be visible in the design. So we're going to go ahead and then reduce the opacity of this layer again. Let's keep it at 25. We might increase or reduce it later on, depends on our design, depends on what we want to achieve, and depends on how it looks when we get towards the end of the design. Now we are going to go ahead and bring in our image to Photoshop. We're working with this image right here, drag it and drop. Now you can see that this image came in with its own background. It came in with its own background, so we don't want this extra background. We want to be using our own background on Photoshop. So we would have to remove the background that this image came with. Now, how can we do that? Go ahead and click on your property bar. Make sure your selection is on the image. Go to your property bar, scroll down and go on to edit content and click on OK. Now, this is our image on a different workspace. So now we can manipulate it however we want before taking it back to our original workspace. We want to go ahead and duplicate this layer. We want to go ahead and duplicate this layer. In case of any mistake, we are still going to have our original locked layer ready for use. Now we're going to go ahead and select the duplicate layer. Go onto your property bar and then you scroll downward, and you're going to see something that says remove background. You're going to see something that says select subject, and go ahead and remove background. Just hold on, wait for it. Once it creates a layer mask, that means your background is off the image. You can see I can duplicate it and keep it here. The image is off the background. I'm going to go ahead and Ctrl Z. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you another way that you can remove backgrounds on Photoshop, because there are some lesser versions of Photoshop that cannot do what I just did with this image. So I'm going to show you another way that you can remove background on Photoshop. Now we're going to use our object selection tool to do that. Now once you click on object selection tool, you go ahead and then you select subject. Then wait for it to select the subject right here. As you can see, it has selected the subject right here. You click on your move tool. You want to zoom in to make sure the selection is accurate. You want to zoom in and make sure it is accurately selected around. How do you zoom in? You just click on Ctrl minus to zoom out and Ctrl plus to zoom in. Ctrl minus to zoom out. Now, okay, so we're going to create a layer mask around it. You see we have the exact same thing that we did the first time. Now we have our image separated from our background. So we're going to go ahead and drag this image, take this image to our original workspace. Now we're just going to copy it, Ctrl C to copy, and then we go back to our original workspace and then we Ctrl V and paste. Then we go ahead and delete this one. Now the reason why it seems like you cannot see the image on this canvas is because the image is very large. Now I love to download pictures from FreePix, because FreePix gives you a large resolution image that you can use for large designs like banners, like billboards, and your image is not going to lose quality. There are some images you download on other sites that when you stretch it, it tends to lose quality. But FreePix, guys, I love to download images from FreePix when I want to design, because it gives me good quality images that when I edit, it comes out very nice. You're going to see what we're talking about when we proceed in this design. Now we want to go ahead and find our image. Now Ctrl T, transform. You can't still see it, so you you zoom. You can see it now. Zoom, and then you transform it, resize it. Now you want to resize it all together. You can choose to resize it corner to corner to corner. If you want to make this easier for yourself, just go ahead and click on Alt, hold on your left key, and then you transform it all at once. And then you drag it down to your workspace, click on OK, Control 0 to come back to your normal size. Now this is too small for what we want to create, so go ahead and increase this image this way. Increase this image this way, resize it to how you want it to be. Resize, and then click on OK. Now we have our image on our canvas. Now we want to edit this image. We want to retouch this image. It's not looking bright, it's not looking how we want it to be. So we want to edit this image. How do we do that? You go ahead and you convert your image to a smart object so that you can come back and edit on it. And then we go onto our filter and we go into our camera raw filter. Wait for it to load. So guys, on our next video, we're going to learn how you can edit your picture using camera raw filter and how you can achieve a good design using Photoshop. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and watch out for part 2.